been able to sort of get themselves in. You're looking at, obviously, the first point of call and ingress. And, ooh, as we go in. Back at the top of the band phase. Got to run it through again. You assume lock in the same bands. That is so expected. Well, we've seen this actually already play out once. I can't do the whole, oh, I'm so surprised. Because we have already seen this before. 2 shields also removed. We saw a lot of blitz usage when we actually cast this map earlier on today. Which is a very different story. We're getting all the talent walking through. We just had Lax go through as well. What a world. Alright. Heads on. Locked in. Enterprise. The story that we set, if you missed it, Enterprise must win. To keep their fate in their hands. They have a day off tomorrow. If they lose this series, then they must sit and watch to see if they are eliminated or not. They do not have the power. Obviously, after this game, we have Fluxo W7M against OXG, so there's always the chance that more points can come in. Oh my word, look at this perfect graphic that comes up. EP's fate is out of their hands with a loss. Secret secure upper bracket with a win. Secret, well, I think everybody really expected them to do well, but a securing of upper bracket. Ooh, isn't that nice? You're thinking, you're staring.
Just have a look. Just at the setup.
It's technically our job.
It's quite a heavy extension in from the defense. I'm seeing Denari trips over towards the library, so certainly quite a bit the Enterprise have to try and go through if they want the library control. But you look at where the attackers have started off their approach. It will be towards solar. So very well could be a solar take, and there ain't a whole lot of util apart from a few YMI discs. Nobody playing in behind the plants portion of that solar room, so could be pretty free, I think, for the attackers just to try and go and take it. I mean, Noah is in the position right beside the window. Can't really move because, again, I'm sure that big window player will just restrict that movement, and it is going to be the Glaz who is a little bit worried of the run-outs, which can happen from either Trench, or we've also seen big run-outs in through the main door, for example. So, yeah, just have to be careful in that position.
Getting themselves the smoke coverage. Release gets the first with Doom and Noah biting back almost immediately. That would have been the swinging attempt. The smoke will cover the actual approach on the windows. It's still a brawl. Close on the door itself, and all try to escape the Ranger player, but unfortunately the width was just not there. So what has been taken? Bappin's getting some pressure inside and down on the outside. Sprays a bit too high. They should be able to get the player up just in the safety of the solarium stairs. But Noah, more than ready, waiting and willing for them to try and push their way back up. The kit, if they know about it, stuck just around. But with a minute 10, the Glaz still on the back end window. They're waiting to see if they can maybe get a lucky pick. The problem is, Demo, no more smokes. Everything was thrown that execute. And now, with nothing in their pockets, what can they make stick?
Yeah, they've got nothing. No util. And really just the general vibe of the solar take. It has been pretty limp in terms of util and taking this ground. This is where a shield would have been great to have, but sadly they don't have it. They have to try and play with kills, and somehow Jim misses out on that. But Noah is there with the trade. Bappin goes down to the smoke canister, and a Glaz in a 1v2. Player has it all to play for.
Well, that's not going to help fill his lungs with any hope. They know exactly where he is, they know exactly where he needs to go, and they know exactly what kind of operator he is. You just have to make sure he's not able to get that quick swing pick on towards you. 2 versus 1, and yeah, how else was that going to go? Instantly locked in, instant start, and you got to give credit there, obviously, Enterprise. They went for something a little bit sharp. They threw everything at it, they got a couple of kills, but Secret just locked it down.
If you're going to go solar direct on that take, it is very simple because you don't need a massive amount of map control. You don't have to take control of library and do the whole clear, that whole song and dance. You can just go trophy, which is very easy to take because there's a lot of cut-off windows and you stop roamers being down there. And then you just sit on the solar rappel. But if you want to make that work, you need to have a great sense of utility and also players who can play on the crossfires. You think about the cutoff points, big window, over towards bathroom, over towards piano, even a backstab towards the office door, in through the balcony. Those are weak points that you need to put pressure on. If you're only fronting up from Solar and just pushing one way, it's so easy for defenders to sit there and just hold an angle. There's no the util that they've tried to stop the defenders playing in that bomb site is a gridlock.
Yeah.
Gridlock thrown just in Solar, it makes no difference. Secret aren't going to enter into that. They're just going to sit and use the lines of sight that they've made. They need to do more. They need to put more pressure on Secret. That's too easy for them.
Talking about making things too easy, and probably the game that you and I talked about and covered in Stage 2 that adds a bit to this statistic, Secret. Their attack and defense rates on this map, only 27% on defense on Chalet. They cannot really find the strength on this side of things. 68% on their attack. They know the side of this map that they prefer. They know where they want to get themselves locked in.
Do you know what I love as well? You've basically just described the 4-2 split on Chalet, which is what we're used to.
Yep.
You know? So, yeah, I think for Secret, the more defenses they can get, the better, because we know how good of an attacking side they really are.
And that's it. Unfortunately, it's a little bit more 50-50 from the side of Enterprise. They're looking at about 57 on the attack, but technically better on their defense, 42. So they're split. They're probably after at least that 3. See if they can try and put the pressure on and try and keep things a bit more stretched away, whereas Secret are happy with 2 as their opener. You can see all the pressure coming in. They're trying to get Noah. Look at them shepherding him onto that opening, but it's Mowgli that gets player. We talked about the importance. We had the graphic comparing the 2 players beforehand, and, well, now they've got to peel away, pull back, and where even did that happen? Mowgli took a little bit of damage, but they've lost the Twitch.
I believe he swung from kitchen corridor and was able to pick off the Twitch. Again, I believe the Twitch was inside lobby trying to make sure nobody could go for the ace and the sledge who were attempting to open up that connector wall. But as you can see from Secret, they're not really bothered about connector wall. They still have this full hold upstairs in towards library. They found another pick in the meantime. A great drop there from Savage because he knows danger was going to be coming towards them, and it would have been those fire bolts. And yes, Secret now with a 2-man advantage. You just sit in sight, just sit in your hands, hold your angles, play your crossfires, have the trades.
That's the main part of Chalet as well. It's awkward to get into. Awkward to get into those windows. There's usually more threat coming from outside the building. The traps that you can lay as you force people to cross big open chasms of space. They don't have that working for them. Instead, they're having to be a little bit under the radar, slipping their way up blue, trying to get this take from Snowmobile Stairs onto the player up top, but worried because of the cross angles. There's the first. That's Mowgli down in the basement. Or in fact, up from the basement, Bappin pushed his way up. They just missed a stock player, but they found an angle, but no, Doom and Adrian want a piece. And not even the trade out. Great network there from Secret.
Yeah, again, Secret just didn't really move. They didn't need to. Enterprise, I feel they need to try and force the mistakes here from Secret. They need to try and make Secret panic, I think, on both of those rounds. Secret have just been so comfortable. You know, they've used their util. They've got the picks when they need to. They give them that advantage. And then they play it safe. Just not a lot happening for Enterprise.
Would you like to know a fun fact about the stats of this tournament so far?
No.
Oh.
Go on, then.
Oh, right. Now, this doesn't... this may obviously include the games that have already been played today, but currently at the start of this, the EPS rating, Secret, are the only team where every single player has at least 100 in the EPS. The entire team is over that threshold.
Pretty good.
Just shows how well they work as a team, as a sort of 5-man strike force. These networks, these trade games, every single aspect of it comes together to create something that is, we're seeing right now from Enterprise, very tricky to find a way to dig in and start to pull players out of it. Weibo aren't a million miles away. Speakeasy is the only one that isn't there. But he's only 4 off, 96. Can we give it to him?
No.
Okay.
Oh, go on then.
Oh, congratulations, Weibo. You also get the accreditation. Ooh, waiting for anybody to try and make a friend here. But would you say this is a bit of a cautious lineup here on this approach?
Yeah. I think you see the Blackbeard be brought in, the Lions there. Just going to give that a little bit more of a control to it. Even the Deimos, to see if, if somebody's been droned out. You can spot somebody, you get the Deimos to give you that active information. I mean, Doom, I think, is going to be the player in the hot seat. You look at where he's stationed in towards the connector of Bar, and, well, we've seen from our Shopify Rebellion game yesterday, Spoy had a nightmare playing in this position because the shields can close you down really well. But look at the difference between Shopify Rebellion yesterday and Secret. They're playing together. 2 players have came to the aid of Doom. 1 player in Bar, 1 player towards Blue. You create that triangle, that bit of pressure that you need to have so you can trade your teammates.
Ripped and ready to go. There's the track on the back of it, and just going to see if they can force any utility out from the other side. The Deimos knows that he's on the prep line, and this wall, this breach is a pinch, but how much attention will be paid towards him? Quite a lot. Yeah, Fisho above. There's also almost the response, though. There's the impact attempt. Oh, he's tucked himself in. Relays get saved by Bappin. They found a breakthrough. 2-hand was lost, and no, Relays has gone down. Not entirely sure where from.
Is that Goo Mine? Must be the Goo Mine.
Yes, caught out by a Goo. But hey, gets him back up to his feet. And actually, I think with more health than he had just before he went down. It's like an old-fashioned reset.
Well, I've been at 15. Mowgli able to pick up 1, and don't forget, he's the smoke. He can still try and stall out a good portion of this round. But now for Enterprise, it's where do you go? You've been able to take above, but remember, it's a kitchen bomb site. They still have to work their way through the bomb site at some point, and I just don't know if they have really the time management to do so. Good pick, though, onto Noah. Oh, Adrian has to see if he can maybe rotate and go for the reinforcement. I mean, that is a bold play, but it's worked out for him.
I mean, that he's been able to pull that off is impressive, but they're inside the site. So, how do you find a pocket and a safe place to plant? They're looking at all the verticalities, trying to get rid of the bulletproof, and then the idea is Mowgli! Oh no, the shield! Maybe drifted a little bit too close to the sun, and like Icarus, his shield has been shot. A 2 apiece with 25 seconds to try and connect this, but they don't have the kit. They're just having to drift underneath and hope that they can slip on by the vertical angles, but they're still having to break their way in. Mowgli gets his 3rd for the round. He's come down the stairs. There's another Goo Mine just to put another needle in the toes of the problem. The shotgun popped and locked. You've still got Adrian above with the DMR. He can swing that hatch at any point, but look at the positions they've taken. They know he's got to come to them, so sit back, relax, and I'll take another round.
Yeah, time not with them. They make the panic play, and Mowgli just sits down, just has a lie down and waits for him to come to him. I mean, that was a big kill at Mowgli going to the Blackbeard. Had the elevation. You could see over the top of the shield, able to get the pick onto the Blackbeard. And once you lose that shield, who would have been the primary candidate to go for the plant, hesitation sets in for Enterprise, and that's where the mistakes start to happen. I mean, overall for Secret, it was all about that roam game. Waste as much time as you can. I thought, again, Adrian, done a really bold play going for that reinforcement, but then that gave them the security to go upstairs and then just play the verts.
Well, we are definitely not hearing any of this one.
Hear nothing.
A lot of these pushes, you're gonna have to like pressure map to like clear util a lot. So it's gonna take ages to keep people ready up. We'll still try.
So, heard a little bit about pressuring the map, pressuring the util a little bit earlier. It's good. I mean, we said it at the time, at the start of the previous round, that they're playing cautious.
Look, it's not simple stuff. Simple stuff that can be rectified very easily from Enterprise. I think their positioning is good, the way that they're actually supporting each other, but they're just missing that little bit of a trade game. That util clear, obviously, which they mentioned themselves, but again, nothing too disastrous. But this'll be the big round to see if that timeout's going to be successful to get them back on track. Or if not, Secret, it could be walking away with 4 defense. I mean, 3 already is great if you're Secret, because we know how strong that attacking half is going to be for them. But right now, with 3 defenses, could be enough already. And they could still get more.
That was the sort of win con that you and I put down, was Secret, usually 20% of their defenses, usually get that 2-4 split on towards their attack, and every compliment paid towards them, their stats, how they work as a network.
He got his one.
Got his one. Got rid of Bappin as well. There goes the sledge. There goes your grenades, or at least half of them. And there goes a player after a timeout. I mean, what a way to try and shake the mental, right?
Yeah, and a lot of teams will do that, is after a timeout's been called, they'll do something stupid to catch the opponents by surprise, because the opponents have obviously heard a timeout, and they're going to have the game plan in their heads, and then that happens, and it's a bit of a demoralizer. It is the sledge. Don't think it's a massive miss of an operator. You might be missing the nades, but you've still got the backup from the Deimos.
I think one of the things about the nades, which also sort of ties into the Flores, the conversation about trying to get rid of utility, right? Nades are great, especially on this map. Talked about it earlier. You're thinking about, like, anything that's under a window, hop-ins, just getting the bounce around.
It's also important to note that that would be their main way of clearing somebody out of the half-wall position, which, as we know, is typically quite an issue for a lot of the attacking sides.
Doom is caught. Player on the glass has been able to have pretty decent moments. Unfortunately, still needs a little bit more. But now with this man advantage, can they try and thread this into a network? Yeah, that's some of the utility they were trying to get rid of. Well, you kind of hope that they double down on that. As I said, stuff inside the windows, those hop-ins, those quick moments, they're the things you can limit and control.
So I think the danger operator here for Enterprise that they have to try and spot out and find is going to be Savage downstairs on the Solus. So if you want to try and go for a plant, that's not going to happen. Him downstairs with the gadget with the impact grenades can make short work of anyone wanting to plant that diffuser. So it just comes down to, is the drone work going to be strong enough to spot that Solus? The other two players, they're just going to try and waste as much time as they can, which then helps Savage in the long run.
The worry is we fall into the final minute and they're still going to try and find the Solus underneath, and they're just going to solo go for the fight itself. Savage is moving away. He's expecting it, anticipating it. He knows there's nothing on Solarium's side, so why not? They still have a player ducked in behind this half wall, this position we talked about, but 2 nades might be able to do the distance. They also still have 2 smoke canisters. Sorry, they have at least 1 less flash now as they go for the swing, but Mowgli has the coverage now. Where are those doors going to go? Nowhere, because Savage knocks Two-Hand out of the equation. The Glass, though, as I said, he's good with it. He proves he's even better than that. They're either side. They're going for a push from both ends, but they need to try and isolate either Mowgli or Savage here. You can see the pings are coming through. He's expecting the swing either way. There's Savage winning his one. Mowgli, can you do the same? Yes, you can! And the timeout has not slowed them entirely, but you did see Secret start to sweat a little.
Yeah, again, very close. It comes down to winning those engagements, which could have went either which way. Yeah, for Enterprise, they're going to look at that and think, we had the man advantage and we let it slip. I mean, they've done the correct thing. They put that pressure on the Savage below. It forced Savage back upstairs. But that all-important swing, that kill right there from Mowgli to shift the tide, that's one of the players who would have been covering for the plant on the breach. You know, we talked about half wall. I mean, Glass just walked in and killed him, so that was that sorted. But other than that, I mean, it is going to be another lost round. Enterprise are thinking, we need to be playing better than that. If you have that man advantage, it needs to be better. You need to close them out. Yeah. Because you're sitting 4-0 and you still have the bad side to come. You have to go on the defense against Secret on the attack.
Enterprise. Can they still try and take lessons learned, right? You know, it's a game of 2 halves. You might be able to get yourself a bit more familiar on your defense. They aren't statistically too much worse on their defense than on their attack. Yes, they're going to have a very tough team to hold out against. Secret is Secret. They're brilliant on their attack, especially on a map like Chalet, where you sort of do have a history of it. Mowgli has been on, obviously, rosters. I always think French rosters are great at attacking Chalet.
He's been on 2 teams before Secret, and that's it.
Yep. French teams, then.
Wolves was one. Can you name the other?
Ooh.
Can anyone name the other? What team was he in before he joined Wolves?
I can't.
Totem.
Oh, I remember the name. I'm trying to think if I ever cast it.
You didn't.
Oh.
That was the CL team.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Memories. I've cast CL. You and I, once upon a time. Back in the day.
Very long for you. Not as much for me. So I'm still doing it for a bit longer.
Hey, listen, we're both here and we're both back. All right, baby. 4-0 and Mowgli is almost, well, he is knocked out. But Savage and Adrian so consistently They make sure that they respond, and they respond in a volume that the Australians can't ignore. 4-2, and players the next to take a scrape. But at this point, how do you build? Look at what they've lost, Demo.
Yeah, I mean, they've tried to play really fast for the clear. Don't forget that we're dealing with a bar here. And they've tried to come in fast and furious, in free trophy, in free bedroom. But you look at the positioning. You look at that structure from Secret. They knew straight away how quick the Enterprise were going to try and take that. Everyone was there to support one another. Mowgli died straight away. Somebody's inside a dining, ready for that trade. Upstairs, ready with the windows, ready for the swing-ins. Nobody was in the bomb site. But they knew that. They've done their prep work.
Will it be a flawless half? Or can Enterprise give themselves a lifeline to withstand what is going to probably be a large crashing wave of Secret? They still have one more chance. Monty is on the boards. I would describe this as a panic Monty.
Yep.
I think it's fair because, you know, they're not... It's not that they're really doing anything specifically right or wrong. I think they're not a million miles away from putting the pressure on. But the engagement game and the trade game, especially from Secret, has just been...
Well, I mean, if you look at one of those deaths that Enterprise had. One of the guys just jumped in piano, blind, no help, and then three guys swung from 3 different angles and murdered him.
Yeah, I think... Okay, I'm not counting that in my compliments to Enterprise. But
look,
you're right.
Secret is a very good outfit. There is no doubt about it how good that team is. And maybe this is just the reality of it.
Yeah, it's sort of the comments that we had about the game that you and I cast earlier today. Are we going to get more outside? Savage is ready to hop on West Main, and obviously can get a bit of a read in case anybody tries to tuck on the wall and drone and getting close, and also the players above as well. He's just sort of filtering any of this approach. Maybe someone's on the rafters, maybe someone's on the walkway. He'll get this, and he'll feed it to the team, and there's also a little bit of vertical if he wants to use it too. The Twitch drone gets some work done, and disconnect, I believe. And that is exactly the player I was talking about, so he's not going to see anything.
Have a pause?
Yeah. It was...
Very late crash.
Hey, listen. You and me, I and you. It's not our job to work that out. That's someone else's job.
Well, that's unfortunate, but hopefully we'll get back in as quick as we can, because there was a nice flow to that.
There was.
But we'll see. Maybe for Enterprise, maybe it's what they need. Bit of self-reflection.
It's always that question, right, of nobody ever wants this. I think that I'm going to preface any of this topic before people start saying anything. Nobody ever wants this in a game at all. But who does it work in favor for? You've got Secret that's on a roll and just sort of going through. And then you've got, on the other side, Enterprise, who are struggling and trying to find themselves back in. But they're also sort of now having to stop. As you said, they were building momentum. But I would also say that the round just before, compared to the round just before the round just before, was much worse. So it almost gives them a little bit more time to reflect on the timeout, the sort of conversation they had. Not too long. Mowgli. I mean, he was obviously a highlight at the start of this, and he's a highlight reel.
Again, everyone from Secret, I think, is playing very well.
Yeah.
Good spread across the board. See, Mowgli had that big round where he had the 4K. Also very clean 2K along with Savage, and that's another partnership that I think was really benefited. It's the Mowgli and the Savage pair up. Both of them, I would say, are two halves of the same brain sometimes, the way they think together. And I think you mentioned as well about the way that Mowgli and the way he wants to be IGL'd. I think Savage is the perfect match for that. They understand the save wavelength.
Yeah.
And I think that benefits a lot with that team whenever you have Mowgli, who we know can go in and just go crazy on the scoreboard. And then you've got Savage there, making sure everything else is happening. So, and look, I think just everyone from Secret, look, Jum, I think, has been incredible since he first appeared in the scene.
Yeah.
Easily has been top 5 players of Europe for a good old while. Noah, I mean, the redemption story, by the way, of Noah Urs, just a shout out for that.
Yeah.
Noah Urs' first stage inside of EU was miserable.
Horrible.
And then we see the stage 2 and the turnaround. And look, I think Kangaroo Kenny has to have a play because the coaching always, I think, really drived him with that. But that redemption story was incredible from Noah. From where he was to where he's now got to is phenomenal. And then look, you've got Adrian, who is still fresh on desks, Rookie of the Year. Even though this is like his third year, 2 or 3 years playing Siege. Something like that.
Third year running, Rookie
still
of the
Rookie
Year.
of the Year. Still the best newcomer.
It's an incredible year he's been having for the past 3 years. I think the thing about Adrian as well is was always brilliant online and then would hit to the live stages. And
he had a really rough start to his Secret career, didn't he?
Yeah. But since then, since the team's come around, again, from the brilliant support staff behind, obviously Twister, but Savage, I think, as an IGL, you're looking at this as a sort of mix of personalities. And as I said, the point was about Mowgli, where previous rosters, maybe he wasn't really gelling.
And I also think on the previous roster for Mowgli, he was that guy on that team. He was the guy you look at.
Yeah.
You know, very similar to kind of the comparisons we made with the old BDS team with Shaiko.
Yes.
Where it was kind of him and then everyone else. Whereas now, Mowgli's joined this. You know, Mowgli's not the star player because it's a team full of star players.
Exactly. But it's a team that's developed together, right? It's a team that if you had these players individually, you'd be like, yeah, they could be great.
Yeah, and again, you can look back at the history of them, and there was a point in all of their careers where there wasn't a lot happening for them. You know, think about Savage. We've already mentioned about the Grubby story. Same with Savage. Played at 2 SIs, never had a win.
Yeah, and now, wow, what a perfect end it would be for what has been a brilliant year of Rainbow Six for this roster. On the other side of it, obviously, still kind of unfortunately struggling throughout this showdown. You've always sort of got the questions on individual regions, on Oceania, on APAC North especially, and on these sort of ones where you can get these star teams' potential, right? You can see them sort of take over a region, or dominate.
Well, yeah, they dethroned Chiefs, didn't they? Who were
Exactly.
the team who, Team Bliss kind of who were always at these events, but now it's these guys who have appeared.
And then you kind of want to go, okay, well, let's see how they can shape. Let's see how they can, sort of grow and sort of improve. And we had mixed story, I think is the best way of putting it. They beat Weibo back in Munich, but then when they were sort of pushed to the brink, wildcard was a loss. Yeah, you're looking at a loss from W7M, but then you're looking at the Fury game. They took a map that it could have been something, and it's still, you look at a game like this and you're like, yeah, okay, Fury could have been something, Secret could have been something, and you want to see those teams spark somewhere, right? You want to see something happen. Doesn't always happen. There's a lot of hope that I had for Fearex based on earlier on from talking about APAC North teams and support. And obviously Kagasaka had an amazing start to the year.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the year kind of happened to them. And
they were left for D+. Out of all of it, which is the crazy one. It's what they've been able to do at this event.
We're back in.
Back in.
5-0 at Secret. They are off to the races. They have been locked in on their defense, and we have but one more swing of it.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused
because
by
I believe the ruling is finalized as if
45 seconds into the round, I believe.
45 seconds.
So 2 minutes 15.
But I think because all of the operators were already locked in, they have to. I think if it happens during prep phase, you can change things. I can't entirely remember the ruling and how it plays on attackers, so I'm not going to pretend to. I'm just going to trust that there's people. We don't do this job. This is not our job. I've read a few rule books over the years, and occasionally I'll blur them together. We got up to 7 rounds now. Actually, wait. When the last time you and I were casting an international event, would have been OGA Pit back in 2018, 2019. Was it 7 rounds then?
Yeah, because I think was it? Yeah, I think I
would have to go back. It was it wasn't that long after it got.
I distinctly remember the change from 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Because that came in at I think a December event one time.
Oh,
that's I mean.
Oh, oh no!
This is King Rat.
Oh no!
This is how he's known in Europe. This is what he does.
Oh no!
Ratting about as usual.
There goes your thinker. There goes the spray through, and does there go the chance at not suffering the wrong side of a flawless half. Nice shot compliment comes through, but at this point, it was up to 7. I just had a quick look. You've lost the thinker. You've lost the chance at the drive-through. You've lost the chance at just supporting what could be a bit of quick potential pressure, getting through. You know, look at all the swing positions as well. You've obviously got the Warden to play against any of these smokes, and this Glaz, who is... I'm not going to go too much into your opinion on the two of them going against each other, but I know you say you prefer Glaz, but what if the Warden's in the hands of Mowgli? He will want that smoke. He will want that fight. Doom.
They're executing.
Yeah, he got relays. Are they executing?
I mean, there's not a lot happening. I thought they were. I mean, they're throwing util upstairs and nobody's really pouncing at it. They're still outside. Again, not doing a whole lot. And I don't get why you're not sat 3v5. You don't have much to play off. I mean, in terms of util, Doke will be calling a few smokes and that's it.
Oh, he somehow got out of that. Slipped his way around. Zoom's on for 3 this round. As Tuhan is found, and that leaves just Player and Bappin. Nope, just Player. And it might have been a flawless half, but it's a flawless round as well. The cherry on a delicious cake for Secret is cooked up, but unfortunately no Tim Tams for the Aussies.
6-0. Defensive half on Shalai. You don't see those. Have we ever had one of those?
We have now.
My word. I mean, honestly, trust me, doing that is very impressive. It really is. On a map like Shalai, where we've already talked about the benefits that the attackers have, with the map crossfires and the util up and how strong that is in combination, where you can set these cutoff points and pinch players as the util comes in. I mean, Enterprise has basically showed us that they did not do any of that, and that's been the difference.
Yeah, I think it's... I'm wondering how it's going to sort of translate to the other side, because at this point, Secret's been running as a very well-oiled machine.
Well, here's the thing about Secret. They've got so many cheese rush strategies that eventually one of them will stick, and that's all they need. That's how they work.
Do you think we're going to see 6 potential cheese rushes? Do you think... At what point do you think they would stop trying the cheese rush?
I mean, they'll just try anything, really.
Right.
They'll get it eventually. Of course they will. But I will say, similar scenario yesterday against SSG, and they almost had a wobble. So
yeah,
it's the only thing you can say about Secret is they've been in position like this already yesterday.
They know.
Less than 24 hours, and they almost choked it.
They know how to lose their own games. And, you know, Enterprise just needs to try and find a way to tighten and punish that. One of the things that sort of... Well, one of the things that brings a little bit of worry, I'm not going to say is the thing that could be the end of this, is the only 2 kills per round we're currently getting from Enterprise. They haven't really been able to push too much further. You've got obviously Bappin and Player have gotten themselves a bit closer, but otherwise, a team-based 2 kills per round is just, on a map like Chalet, not quite putting the pressure on. We'll see now if the Blackbeard is going to be the read-through. They're waiting to try and bait the hop out from Mudroom. Just, they've got time. They can offer support. They can make sure that they have all the coverage.
I mean, 2 hands in here. There's a leg. There is a leg. There's a foot. You see him.
Oh, they got the ping.
There we go.
Oh, and they've got 2 hand. It was a Noah.
I was worried.
Noah with the revolver.
I was worried.
I'm the one dressed like a cowgirl. He's the one that pulls off the yeehaw. But that's 2 hand gone. You're now looking at a Blackbeard that's even more emboldened. Sure, you've got those Alamines, the Grismots to try and find your way around, but otherwise, there goes the Legion, there goes the Slow, and it's a high risk. Unfortunately, no reward play. Now the Buck, free to get in underneath. June. Start getting some structural work done, but they've got another catch here. Dining. Oh, Bappin, beautiful swing.
Really important pick as well from Bappin to take out that Buck. The way Secret would have then wanted to set up was have everyone in the windows. And the way I mentioned about the way you pinch players, you use that Buck to clear them out of those positions. You force them into the crossfires, and you get very simple kills. And Bappin! The confidence to go for that great pre-fire onto Adrian. Savage, though, was hunting. So, hey, at least you're Bappin. You were able to get another kill before going down. So now you leave your team in not a bad spot. I mean, it's 3 versus 3, and still, I think for Secret, it's not having that man advantage to have that collapse now may be the issue. Looking at big window, that's where somebody may need to rotate to, but I don't know if they're going to go for it. I mean, Mowgli really can go anywhere if he wants to.
Now, there's also the element that you've got rid of 2 big structural players, right? You've got rid of the Capitals. You won't have those bolts. You won't have the fires to force positions or the smokes to cover the plant. You've also now not got the buck. So, the verticality. Savage is the man taking over the mantle. Not sure if they've got a secondary shot in the pockets of Mowgli, but they're just trying to force the space with what they have instead. And there's the rotate round on towards the balcony. Pressure on the bathroom window.
Yeah.
They're trying to pinch out this player, but 30 seconds. What they're going to do, cut across bathroom, maybe get the cross on the angle, maybe draw on piano side, and then just plant in on the inside of the soft wall.
Denari trip. This is going to basically stop Mowgli from entering here.
Relays gets 1. There's the Blackbeard trying to bait the fight. There's 1 C4 still in pocket as well, and he's hoping they find attention. There's the destruction of the Denari. Mowgli's just got to send it. There's a shield in, not for very long, and now... Well, it won't be a flawless. Relays gives them at least 1. And they get themselves off the board.
Yeah, good value there from the Denari. You know, Mowgli knows he can't jump in, because if you get by that, that's the slow effect. You move so slow if you hit one of those lasers, and pretty useless at that stage. But still, for Secret, look, they've got a lot more chances here to close it out. And the top floor's gone. Has there been a blunder from Mowgli the way he said that? It seems as though he's discovered something that he didn't know before.
That was so
Yeah, I mean, Bappin played big here.
Beautiful shots.
Great shots.
I'm wondering if he swung the double door because he knew or he heard the Blackbeard
Yeah, he knew
coming
he was
through.
going to get killed anyway.
So he was just like, got to choose one, would rather take the fight in a guns-up fight to the person who expects me to go for the Blackbeard.
Yeah, I think it's easier to kill somebody without the shield in their face.
Sometimes.
From my experience.
Depends how good the shield player is. I thought you were a big shield enjoyer.
Of course.
Of course you are.
I'm surprised that Savage hasn't pulled out the Blitz, because I think Blitz is fantastic on a map like Chalet. And obviously, whenever Enterprise where he's shown, they're roaming.
Yeah.
Isolate them. But I do know, from speaking to him, he prefers the Blackbeard. That's the only thing he has over me.
Okay.
He'll admit this.
That's the only thing?
Look,
Because he's just
look,
changed to prove you a point.
Look, we've had this discussion. He said that I can't operate the Blackbeard, and I said I'm a better Blitz, and we both agree with that.
Okay, well.
So, 1 apiece. So, we'll see what he does with the Blitz.
Are you going to criticize Savage's blitz plays?
Of course I will.
Okay. Yeah, maybe Savage. If you watch the VOD back later, maybe
he doesn't. Don't worry.
Maybe
I've asked him. He doesn't watch the things back, and he goes, "Oh, did you hear my cast? Oh no, I listened to it muted." So.
Ooh. Yeah. So do I. Relays is gone. Unfortunately, they've lost the Mozzie. Now the pastor you assume was trying to be a pest, get outside the building, try and shake things up. It's decent game on Chalet. You know, take the risk. You have to make sure that you're meeting them with aggression. Unfortunately, that engagement doesn't quite meet the favor, meet the balance. Instead, Secret. They get themselves in. They get themselves at least some grasp on the building. You can see here, Player and Bappin, they're just going to double up. Make sure they don't get caught out. Ooh, Noah does, though. Player finds one. There's Doom getting Fisher Guy. In the meantime, they're waiting for somebody to swing on this door, and it's still a shield reading the information. Mowgli's there for support. They've rotated up, but Bappin hasn't. Serves one up in the bar! Bappin! Brilliant two-piece yet again. Two-hand finds Adrian. And now a Sledge with not a lot of health. It's going to start trying to open some angles, but look at where the kid is. They've still got players vertically and flat watching it inside the bar. It's an awkward recollection. He slipped his way past the first angle. He's expecting a swing from the second, and good premonition, but, well, they can just sort of waste that. 2 rounds.
Yeah, good trades. Really good trades from Enterprise, and catching Secret by surprise. I mean, Mowgli looked stunned whenever he got swung. And Savage went for the pistol. Didn't work out for him. Down goes the Blitz. But yeah, for Secret, I don't know. Maybe just dragging their heels a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not having everything checked before they make their attempts at going for the clears.
it feels like Enterprise are obviously, you know,
I mean, they're going aggro.
Yeah,
Like, this is a very aggressive playstyle that Enterprise are bringing into this. They're
They
not
need to
allowing
be.
Secret to set up.
Like, they have to make sure that they're making them uncomfortable because
Yeah, look, it's very high risk because if you lose your engagement, then you lose the round. But at the moment, it's working for them, so just keep going. Just keep rinsing the same thing again. Well, really, it's up to Secret to change and adapt and how they want to go about things.
it's also worth sort of mentioning the opening kill has gone their way twice here, Secret, and they haven't been able to turn it around. As I said, it's the high risk. It was Relays the previous round, 2-hand the round before when it was caught in Mudroom. Those are risky procedures, but the prognosis turns out okay by the end of it.
5 seconds.
So Secret, they really need to try and lock this one together. If this round goes away, you assume a timeout will come from the side of Secret because, lads, what's going on? Oh no, we're doing that Secret thing that we do. One for all for nothing. Enterprise again, they are playing.
Secret go all the way to OT, or even just close enough, because speaking to them, and they said, oh, whenever it went 6-5, we started to worry.
Yeah.
So even they know that they cut it really close
Yeah.
yesterday against SSG, and look, you need to be able to close it out because, you know, if you keep letting teams get back into it, eventually one will clean sweep you. One will get the full 6 rounds back, so you need to close this out in good time here, Secret.
Relays almost got baited by the drone there. I mean, they knew each other were close, but I don't think Relays realized they knew that he knew. The destruction comes towards the window, and they're just not going to sit around. Fair enough. You know that there's going to be pressure that's coming around. You know they're good with utility. You know that they've probably got the Capital, which they do. They've got grenades, which they do. Don't give your life to them.
Decent amount of util, though, still towards Fireplace. You have a shield set up where player is on the Wamai, and again, if there's a Wamai, there's probably going to be discs not too far away from him. So this is going to be the point that Secret need to try and combat against. And they also have a good deal of util. You've got the Grim, you've got the Capital, you even have the sense if you want to try and cut off an angle and rush him.
But not just Wamai, ADS is up there as well. They are really building. Top Rafters is a power point and a power position, and as the first bolt gets used on towards that position that's already been left, well, where are you going to put the second bit of fire? Secret. They're going to have to try and put some pressure from the Ego Balk side, see if they can try and pinch out on towards player, on towards Bappin's position there, but otherwise, nothing else has been tested. You're sort of looking at Piano, where they've started to make their moves across. They've still got time, and the shield's going to go for that stretch. As I said, on towards this position, and try and build from it from the other side. There's the first play. The Bees try and force the player into be a bit scared of what's going on. The grenade will get rid of the shield. They'll slip their way back, and the sense roll goes out. There's the cross. There's almost a bit of team damage, but Fisho finds one. Savage gets the response, and they've actually strong-armed their way in.
Great shot.
Bappin continually causing problems with 2-hand getting one in the mix, and now a 3 versus 2. Savage. He said he prefers a Blackbeard, and yeah, he's moved off the blitz and found himself a 2-piece. But 30 seconds. No kit.
Do they know about the player on the stairs? Now they do. Good drone work from Savage. That would have been nasty if you let that Jaeger just sit there, but I mean, still not a great position from Secret. They don't have a lot of time left. They need to try and pick up the kills quick. Nade goes out to try and keep that Jaeger at bay as Savage now just trundles on in through lobby. Diffuser going to be picked. They just have to try and drop the hatch and plant.
Well, they've dropped the hatch and they've not planted. Savage gets himself a third for the round, but with 6 seconds, Enterprise just need to keep a bit of width, and Bappin needs to keep doing what he has been doing. I said it at the start of the half. I worry. They're only averaging 2 kills per round, and Bappin went, you're right, so that's going to be my average now. What a second half he is having so far.
They're doing it. Halfway to the comeback being completed. I mean, I'm waiting for the Twister timeout. Twister called his timeout very early on in the SSG game. I believe it was 6-2 when he called the timeout after SSG got 2. He has left it here. Is he going to call a timeout now before we head into the next round?
He has to. Blackbeard has been banned, which we'll find out about in just a second. There's the second. And Wamai was the response as well. I think they've sort of realized.
I'm getting nothing. I don't even. It's not even the case of we can't pick it up.
It's just a quiet
I
game.
know the timeout with Twister.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
will kneel down beside Savage and just kind of speak to Savage and just look at him, and he talks very quietly. So that's why we're having a few issues picking it up.
There he is.
There we go, knelt down. But it's just very difficult whenever he's like that. But you get the general idea. I mean, I assume it'll probably be the same kind of timeout he did yesterday, where it was. I think the phrase he used was, "It's not. It's a marathon, not a sprint."
Yeah.
That was what he said, and it just take their time, go through the motions, and we'll get it eventually. And they did get it eventually, even though they left it very late. But again, for this team, for Secret, they are starting a bit of a trend now, where they play really well the first half, and then they start dropping off. You know, and it is that choke element to it. So just something I've picked up on. Let's hope it doesn't happen here for Secret, but for Enterprise, that's what they're after. And again, Enterprise, the aggressive playstyle is working for them.
Oh, yeah.
And whenever they're hitting great shots, that's also the gunners are gunning. Bappin, we keep mentioning the name.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see, and just keep riding the wave. You don't know what can happen. The pressure isn't on Enterprise, the pressure's on Secret. If Secret let it choke, that's more of a disaster.
Appreciate the training, man. Ready for action. Excitement can lead to mistakes. Stay focused.
Your lapdog couldn't break me, and neither will you.
Sorry, I was listening. The voice lines are still
They're still going.
All right, now they're done. That was a lot. That was
Like good 20 seconds at least.
everybody
there. Yeah.
wanted to have
It was
a word in.
It's a panto.
No, it isn't. 2 shields gone. Blackbeard's gone. And you know, he's been able to make some work happen with the Blackbeard. They've done some damage, but
Yeah.
I'm wondering if getting the mentality away from the Blackbeard and that shield usage might be something that helps push them over to the end. Fisher guy almost caught out first. We said the entry hasn't always been the de facto decider of how the rest of the round goes, but the last round was the first time Enterprise were the ones to get it in a bit of a time. So they're getting better at it. You need to try and make sure the one game you had under your sort of grasp doesn't slip away.
So right now the setup from Secret seems to be, again, the traditional solar take, where you're going to open up with the Ace, use the ranged tower breach, create that breach in towards bedroom. However, they also have a backstab in the form of Mowgli. He's currently towards library by himself on the Dokkaebi. A great operator go for the backstabs. He's thrown himself in. He sees an opportunity. And a great pick from Mowgli. That is going to disrupt the lineup from Enterprise.
Oh.
And now Secret is starting to pile on the kills.
Doom gets the second. Bappin, the sort of savior of the second half of this game, is gone. But Two-Hand, Fisher, and Player have all been able to have their own impact. So now they've got to have the biggest one of all. And what a way they could have a response for the timeout called from Secret here. 5 versus 3. Secret aren't rushing to anything. They're still holding on to the windows. Savage isn't going to be the first point of call. Let the Deimos get some work done, and let's see if we can try and make things a bit easier for ourselves.
He's Deimos tracked him, so they know he's inside the bathtub, and this is a sitting duck place for a nade to come in. Brilliant from Jim. Very simple. A 2v5, and you just don't see Secret letting it slip from here.
Oh, that was nice. Can you try and do it a couple more times? The calls are coming through. There's the awareness. They're still underneath, obviously, with the revolver. There's still tracks coming together. And now the swing round.
dear.
Player getting aggressive. A 2 versus 3. The track was on the player on the far side. Two-Hand. He's waiting to see somebody pop a head up. If he gets tracked, he is dead because they've got the watch on the window and they can just try and drive themselves up in 2 fights. More Grimbees. Again, high risk. Oh, again, they know where you are. And again, they might not be able to make it count. He's sort of putting holes everywhere. He's seeing feet, but look at the timer demo. 20 seconds. How long can you play with the man in the corner? Not much longer. And no much longer at all to this map as Secret. Don't let it happen again.
Oh, a little bit sketchy there in the 2v5, all of a sudden a 2v3, but they still make it there in the end. Great value there from Jim from the Deimos, picking up 2 kills from below. Great work from him, but Secret, look, they got the job done the first half. That's the main thing. What a stellar performance, but Enterprise, not a bad attempt of a comeback there.
No, I think that's the sort of split of it, right? Is it was a weirdly sort of put together. Chalet, statistically, a flawless defensive half doesn't always happen, especially with these teams and how they like to play. But just maybe too much of the game was away from them by the time. If it had swapped the other way, who knows how it could have gone? Well, we'll have to find out how it keeps going after a quick break.
Signs in the sky and the stars around us.
Well, welcome back to what could be. No, you are not allowed to. Wait, is Mingo subbing in? Imagine. No, not going to happen. No, we have maybe one more map left for Enterprise and their hopes and dreams of SI and going beyond groups, or maybe 2 more maps and we get a massive rise of the Phoenix. Brand new Enterprises for us all to have a look at. Either way, Nighthaven Labs will be where we try and piece it together demo.
Well, it's going to be a tough map for them. Into Labs, which it's important for Secret to get this under their belt. What are you saying, Savo?
For example, I felt like he even, I don't know, like you weren't picking him at all. You almost let him go back when we asked for him. The guy Mads.
I was so confused, like, I didn't know you could hide much.
I like how they're just talking over June.
Yeah, well, Jim's just there, isn't he?
Jim's just there, isn't he?
I will say, by the way, Savage sounds fine. Savage in the game is a little bit more difficult to understand because the accent starts to come in. It's the only thing I will say about Savage. And that's from reports of Jim. Jim's like, sometimes I don't even know what he's saying.
So, Nighthaven Labs, this could be the final experiment for Enterprise. Or can this be the start, as I said, of a story? You don't believe in them. Time for them to prove you wrong. We had a very defender-sided game previously. Obviously, flawless from Secret in the opening half is going to be something that dictates that. But one of the points sort of brought about it was, well, if Enterprise had started on their defense on Chalet, they weren't looking too shabby. They put a few rounds down before Secret hit the panic button. Now they get that chance. Now they get that chance to sort of demonstrate how far they can go on this half.
Well, let's see how it starts off. I mean, already with the bans, we see the double electrification bans. No bandit, no cage. Should make these walls pretty simple for Secret to get in and get it opened up. I mean, there's still ways around, of course, we know, with denying that wall access. Most of it's going to come from probably a mirror. We've seen the kind of awkward breaches you can make. You just plunk the mirror window right in the middle of the wall, and it means that Thermite has a pretty torrid time. And to be fair, sometimes so does Ace, because then they struggle with the impact trick that is still as common as ever. And if you look at the lineup, oh, look at that. There's a mirror and 4 impacts.
Yeah, it's going to be that sort of attempt at slowing down the hard breach, limiting what they can get. Obviously, the walls aren't going to be electrified. You're playing with what you've got, as you said. You've got these other elements that you can bring in, but as we've seen many, many times, it's not the easiest trick even to pull off. You know, you can say, oh, this is what I'm going to do, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Seen it missed a few times already this event, where, you know, you really do have to catch it. I mean, if anyone remembers the old impact tricking where the radius was massive, the good old days where you could impact over the top. And I mean, this was actually a map which had a lot of issues with that, where they used to have the, you know, the wood paneling above, and just the impacts were crazy in this map, but obviously that's all been changed, and mirror has had to be brought in. Also note that they've placed the second mirror window looking in towards garage, so a connector take might actually be pretty strong for Secret, because you're not up against that mirror window that typically is going to be on that wall.
Getting themselves in, quick use of the hard breach. As I said, they've got the swing angle, and well, they've not got anyone on the other side of it. That was just preliminary checks, making sure.
I like this from Secret already. Straight away, you know you're not dealing with any of the electrifications. Get in there, open up all of the breaches, and then you just kind of take your pick and you do your drone work, you spot a bit of a gap, and you go for it. So, yeah, not bad for Secret at the moment. For Enterprise, we know that the struggle will come whenever all the util starts to get dumped in, and again, there's a decent amount of that with that Capital being brought in, and don't forget the Thatcher EMPs are available. And there can be quite a bit of util picked off. You think about even the Elemines, for example, can be disabled. Potential crouch walks up a backside could also be on for them.
Thatcher with that funky new cannon supplied by Dockerby.
Gonna get rid of the ADSs for the Capital.
It just gives them that drive up on towards the rafters and make sure that they can put the pressure much quicker than they probably expect. Bappin.
Oh, I like this.
Oh, he's in, and he's in,
Oh!
and he's across! There's 2 for the trouble, but that will just alert the rest of the team. The diner is open. They're serving up players. Oh, that fish is apparently hard to chew. Fisher guy was able to at least get one more on the back swing.
Oh.
They're almost suffering from the same thing. They took our territory. Let's just bite back. The C4 can't get one, but the player sure does. Downed out on the rafters. And finished off. What a weird way for us to start.
A major stall from Secret. I mean, Mowgli made such a great play. That's what he's designed for. And you thought that Secret was going to play off that and explode into the bomb site, but they didn't. And they've almost left the door open. And well, Fisher guy and player, they've been able to bash it in and get themselves into a 2v2 scenario. And now for Savage and Doom, it's what are they going to push? Where are they going to go together? Connector and E-Box has been the choice.
They're going to see if they can try and move around on the side of the shotgun, but it's tight. They've got obviously 2 smoke bolts to go for coverage.
You can't beat him because you have to vault in, so you're dead. So really for Fisher guy, he wins it off the back of himself with the shotgun.
They've got to try and double up, go at the same time. There's some of the coverage. The shotgun's either side, but they get player through the smoke, and they're down to the pistol, waiting for the shotgun to come, and there it is! What a great little pinch and play. Lucky to get the mirror, but the follow through, brutal.
Oh, Fish, you have to be swinging that E-Box door. You have to. Look, player got caught out trying to rotate through the smokes, I think, to try and get himself into pillar so he could assist his teammate. But whenever Doom is gunning down player, Fish needs to swing. Now, way too late. He actually missed the shot. He did miss the shot, albeit. But, yeah. Look, we've seen plenty of times. A shotgun has killed like 4 people from that position before.
Yep. Oh, couldn't quite lock the door.
I mean, Doom's thinking, how am I alive?
I'm
thinking the same.
I think Mowgli was probably thinking that at the start of the round as well.
Look, great little heads-up play.
Oh,
he just
fantastic.
thinks, hang on a minute. I've gotten this close to the IT door. Nobody's really shot at me. Can maybe just walk in here. And away he goes.
I think Fresh would describe that as a waddle into sight. Hit him with the waddle, com.
10 seconds left.
Secret. Well, I said this could be a chance for Enterprise to prove defense is the best offense and the only one between these 2 teams. Unfortunately, not the best way of starting it. However, for what could have been an absolute tragedy of a round, being able to get it into a 2 versus 2 where you have, in some ways, the upper hand, there's still that spark, there's still that momentum, there's still that idea. They're going to keep the rotate, the site's hot, and move down towards the bottom. How much of the stretch of the map are they going to try and hold on to here? We've already seen how good Secret can be at closing down and how Enterprise love to play aggressively, love to stop them setting up. It's a bigger play space here. There's a lot more places for Enterprise players to lurk, to cause problems, and it might slow Secret down a bit, or it might isolate Enterprise players even more, give Secret space to set up. It's a really hard balance the 2 have to strike now, as you can see, obviously, going for the full check and clear, on towards Connector, on past Jungle, on towards Electric. They've got to make sure everything is safe. And currently, so far, it is. So now let's focus on the mid floor.
Yeah, just slowly finding their drones. See if they can spot out again the weak points. We already seen Mowgli expose that. You see, oh, well, there's nothing here stopping me walking into the site. And again, they're going to try and do the same. However, Bappin has been spotted out on the vigil. Of course, can counter Noah. And oh dear, Mowgli does a little prone in the middle of the corridor. And Bappin able to pick him up. Again, Bappin he has been the guy, hasn't he, today for Enterprise?
Yeah, and obviously that was the comparison we had at the start of the day, was that entry game. Right, it was the battle between Bappin and Mowgli. And this time around, Bappin's the one that can be that extra. The Blackbeard, what are you doing? Relays doubles down. And Bappin gets the zone. This has been an absolute slaughter by this pair. The roaming duo. There's one, at least. And Adrian gets on towards the second. He's expecting a third, and it makes sense. But I think they just left them to their own devices, right? Enterprise have played as well. They've all gone back to the site. Yep. They don't need to. 2 players on their own have just taken out most of the team. It's still a 3 versus 1.
Just sit in your hands. Lock it down. You don't know which way he's coming from. It's pretty obvious now. Opened up in towards the Animus hatch. He has flashed out the player behind Animus, but We know there's a player right beside him. Actually going to see if he can maybe try and go for the floor bang, I think. Oh, almost finding one, but it's the time now, isn't it? You know, 30 seconds. He doesn't have time to sit and check every vertical hole. Drops in. There we go. Easy kill for player. Enterprise. I mean, just a pretty standard roam, and Secret struggling with it. You know, but again, Bappin causing issues.
I think that, I mean, for what I was talking about before of how Secret are great at sort of setting up and closing down, did they pay enough respect towards those two players? You could see they came in very wide, right? We had, you know, the first was a 1 versus 1, maybe 1 versus 2, depending on how it shapes up down the corridor. Then there was another isolated fight. The Blackbeard going almost a step too early gave their life away because they gave them the ability to go for the knife, and it just was a little bit hodgepodge. It was a very British phrase. And they're going to instead rotate their way back up towards the top and see if they can make it stick here instead. We'll see how things go. The less messing around in terms of the hard breach with the current setup. They're just going to try and get things open, not play with the pocket breaches, not go for the gun game. Yeah,
I mean, you look at the lineup. The Blitz comes in for Savage. Ying as well for Noah. I mean, typically whenever we see those operators, it is derived from Fish, is where a lot of those takes will come in from. Try and get the shield rotated around, take the rafters, and then switch the play over towards Fish. Use the Ying, blind everyone, send the shield in. But even still, the shield gone as well. Savage on the glass. Even Secret just not really sure what they want to bring themselves, but they stuck with this lineup. Again, I still think Fish is going to have to be the play based on the operators that they have. But they're still going to have to go for the kind of motions of let's get all these walls open first of all. And again, it makes sense. You look at the bans, you target the bandit, you target the Cade. There's a reason for that. Just so it makes this part of the kind of game a lot easier for yourself.
Well, Habana slightly messed that one up.
That's fine.
Fine.
What are they going to do? Bandit trick it? Hang on. Is there a...
Okay.
How has that little bit survived? Breach looks good.
Yeah.
Huh. Some strength in that metal to hold it up, isn't there?
Like the tiniest
Defies the physics.
Aw, they tried.
Oh.
They gave it a go, demo, and, well, can they pass through it? Probably not, I think, and they're just going to instead try and...
Oh, never mind.
Okay,
It's fine. It was fine.
It. They just absolutely pushed on. IT is exploding. They get 3. They get 2. They get down to 1. Fisho guy. Suddenly all that's left, not for very long. Nice breach. That's all they needed.
Yeah, the explosive nature of the operators going in. Obviously, the Ying creates a lot of chaos, but I don't know. I think just that breach really stole it for me. And
it was
just the fact that you think, oh, the breach is looking pretty bad, and he just strolls on through it, just crouches through it. But yeah, again, it's that Ying. It's the power of those operators. I think that the next ban now for the attackers is going to be pretty important in terms of what they target. Well, plenty of options. You know, you can go for the shields, or yeah, there's the Ying. It goes, and also for Secret, what was the issue that they had? You know, with some of those walls. Yeah, it was the Mira. So get rid of that operator, and you're good to go. So Secret, 2-1 at the moment. And don't forget, I mean, this is the attacking side. This is where we know Secret and their pedigree and their attacks are so good.
Yeah.
It's all about just racking up as many rounds as you can. But for Enterprise, again, I don't think that they necessarily play bad in some of those rounds. It's just it's a lot of util to kind of take in, and all it takes is missing that that shot maybe once or twice and really open things up for Secret.
The thing about this top floor, right, is twice in a row, it's looked quite thin from Enterprise. Secret are a great attacking side, but think about, obviously, you know, we went from laughing about the breach, 20 seconds later they're inside the site and everybody's dead.
Yeah.
And the narrowness of a site that needs to be played in the rotation worries you, right? If this is something where they're just going to continually have it to keep going here, yes, if they win this, they can go back down to the basement, then you've got to go somewhere else. And you're not going to go to kitchen. Nobody goes to kitchen. So, what can they change? What can they try and adapt on the other side of things? With the mirror gone now, walls, well, I mean, they made it look difficult in the previous round, and well, they might still find a way to make it look difficult. but no Yings. At least none of that immediate drive through with the combo ban of the Grim. Who are they trying to close down on? This is where we saw the sort of fall from their round win, even Enterprise. They were able to pull apart the players that entered on the far side of the map. And as I said before, I think Secret just didn't really pay enough heed or aggressive respect towards those two roamers from Enterprise. This time you assume maybe more lessons learnt.
Dokkaebi will send out the call. No kills that came off the back of it, so that's more of a call just to get them into position. And oh, Jum! Somebody spotted that punch hole that he made, and it was face shoes inside of games right now. Needs to be careful because we can see that Jum is still in the surrounding area over towards the 90 corridor.
Oh, Baffin
there we
gets
go.
tracked, and oh no, he turns away! The worst possible time! Mowgli's able to get revenge from the round before, but with Fisho going down as well.
Look at the gap spotting as again from Secret. The way that they're using the drones to see what's the weak point, and then they target that one player.
Ooh, Relays does find Adrian. He looked a little bit lost on the top floor, but now they roughly know where his army is. Is she going to try and dip her way out? There's the motion. There's the flashes coming through, and just finds a little narrow passage of safety and is still looking for the aggression in the fight. But then, finally, falls back. 50 seconds or so left, and instead they're going to see if they can try and maybe push up Fish, but they know about it.
Yeah.
And now they know you're the only one left. So, 2 and... Oh.
Good fucking call.
Secret Machine. Once again in the opening half, turning pretty well.
It's the calls for me. You know, it's apparent to see the way that they're playing this game, where they're not committing to any one side. It's not a traditional way where, again, you just think, okay, we're going to do this take. It just feels as though that Savage is saying, you know what, guys, let's just get set up all around the map. We'll do a bit of drone work, and we'll see what comes up. And again, it's using the players in the right place at the right time, being able to explode at a moment's notice. You know, 1 minute Secret are doing nothing, and then you look away, you blink, and they're there. It's like a weeping angel. You look away from 1 minute for Secret, and they're there.
Now, the entry statistic is one that we kind of had our eyes on at the start of this, and generically, it's been in the driving seat for Secret. 2-1 has struggled, I think 0-4 across all of it, but you're just having that first body on a map like this, I would say, in some ways more than Chalet, it's so important to have that extra person to go for those big, wide closedowns. Right, look at how many different fights have happened on those bigger sites, not the top floor where everything is very close together. And you sort of get a bit of a painted picture of how this can go. We'll see if they can try and maybe find the success as they did last time, but I think the lesson isn't really a structural one in terms of like how they approach it, but more a mentality one of we need to make sure that we approach this in this way. It's going to be maybe a shield driving in towards the site. You can see they're just checking it, hoping that those roamers, that pair that was so successful last time, won't get involved.
I wonder if they're going to try and go for a main breach plant. I mean, Adrian's down here, and it's something that's pretty common where you just smoke out the entire room and try and just plant on the breach, but whenever you have a warden that you're up against, it is risky to go for that. I mean, Savage is with him, so it makes sense having the shield, and I think Savage may be ready to go in here if he can. There goes the Dokkaebi call. There's the smokes.
The Goyo's
they ran through it.
Relays gets one. Savage gets hurt. They're going to see if they can stick the plant, and they breach. The top of IT as well. Draw some focus. It's a post plant with at least a 4 versus 4 tucked behind the shield, and Mowgli is caught out by the end of it. But 2 players left in a post plant situation. 30 seconds. One on the vertical gets the first. Noah steps in, makes his presence known, and sees how much of this he can control. They've got to go for the 2 versus 1. Here's the rotate. Relays waited. Now either side. He's out. He's off. He's going to leave it to a 1 versus 1 below and make sure that Adrian, he's got the cross. He's cool as anything. There's a big gun waiting for the swing, but they need that vertical. They need that coverage. And this is the fight that could dictate it all. Oh, and he doesn't pay it enough. There's 1. There's 2. There is the round. Secret.
I just want to make note of that. Just that tiny little adjustment from Adrian. You see that he was a little bit deeper holding onto the bomb chassis, or onto the diffuser. He then steps up and plays hard right off that breach. A position that typically not a lot of people will play in because, again, a C4, you're going to be exposed, for example. But because it's so, oh, nobody's going to be sat there, it then catches Enterprise by surprise. So really well played from Adrian, just that little micro adjustment. But again, the shot calling right now from Secret, they're getting everything right, the correct call. They see it slight on sight. They can see there's a lot of roamers. Open up that breach, smoke it out. I mean, obviously, they would have had to have known that the Warden was upstairs roaming, or else that take would not have happened.
Oh, yeah.
But they had the information, and they went accordingly. They smoked it out. They used the blitz as the bait. Adrian just had to stick the diffuser. Yeah, brilliant. Love it.
I said, what's going to be the change? It's going to be a take, and it was. I did say, are they going to pay the roamers more respect? And in a way they did. They said, we're just not going to mess with them this time. Let them have the rest of the map. Let's focus in. We'll do what we need to do. And I love the fact that they put the pressure on IT the second they went for the take as well. So that vertical player, who did get at least one, couldn't then focus on anything else. Because if he dies, then they lose a big bit. He has to look up. A retake is more possible than no take. And now, 4-1. This defensive half of Enterprise has slipped away and probably dreading getting onto their attack with how it went on towards Chalet. But technically, they are better on the attack on Labs. They've got more of a preference for it. Unfortunately for them, Secret, much better on their defense here. 62% is their defensive rate against, to be fair, Enterprise's 69% attack. The second half of this could get spicy, but it's down to the mentality, I think, of Enterprise. Bappin, who has been one of those players who's stepped up when they need to, pulls away from the flash. He's not going to get his life taken away from him this early. But he's desperate to get this opening pick, and that's the confidence you need. A drone rolls by. The Warriors, if he goes down these stairs, he will get caught. Oh, he just missed out on the drop player. He's being surrounded, and relays goes. He's about to be droned, so now he's going to go down these stairs. Buck says hello, puts a bit of damage in, goes for the flash. You assume the player on the top's coming, and great collapse there.
Yeah, you can see that that's the difference there from Secret. Whenever they struggle with a roam game already, it's the only round that Enterprise have won was based off just roamers running around. This is the flip side. This is what I meant by the risk versus reward with the aggressive play style that Enterprise go for. If you don't hit your shots, if you don't get your kills, which, let's be honest, at the end of it, this is what Siege is. You have to kill people. Yep. This is what's going to happen. You're going to put yourself in those defects where you just don't have the numbers. I mean, that is great timing there from Fish.
Yep. Right place, right time. Right guy. There goes at least Savage, but, well, they'll be calling the play from the afterlife. The Buck is still getting work on it. Because it's the 4 versus 3, they have the man to be able to do this. They can try and set the air jabs up, force them back out of electric. Now it's a shotgun in this position. We said it could have won them it before. Very tight angles being toyed with through the verticality. Fish is happy to try and swing into them. They're well aware of some of these locations based on Fenrir. And look, they're retaking on towards E-Box, but oh, I looked away on the Mowgli. Back and forth, just to and left. Swings out with a pistol, does get one, but 5-1. It feels like, as a way of putting it, it's just lessons learnt here by Secret.
I mean, it's a great half again. I mean, same with Chalet. Very dominant. Not the perfect 6-0, but still close enough. And now for Enterprise, have to go on the attacking front. And, I mean, they haven't won an attack this series. That's probably the worry, is it not?
Well, I think it's a very fair thing. We'll put that in the concerns pile. I've logged the concern.
Quite a lot of concerns at the moment up there, I can see.
Yeah, it's a big pile. But Secret also have concern pile. I mean,
yeah, don't bottle it.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of a wobble here and then where we're worried about them. And look, I think for Secret now, that just go and close at 7-1. Just go and do it. Do what you need to do.
Secret is a team that they can be their own biggest enemy.
Yep.
Multiple times. So here, with 5-1. Enterprise on the wrong side of the flawless. And to be fair, obviously last map, the half was, what, 6-0. And then they got themselves 3 rounds back. They started to believe this time they can get themselves 3 rounds back, then lose one, but then still, you know, have a bit more room, have a bit more as long as they can keep themselves off of map and series point, they can keep the pressure up. And that pressure is almost doubled for Secret. It's tough being on the 6th position sometimes to get that last one. Imagine if you're 2 steps away and things start to go the same way they did before, right? You start to see the patterns the same as you did against SSG, right? It's the difference. Can be. Is this just hopium for Enterprise? I don't know.
Look at the bans. Same bans for the defense again, where we're seeing the Cade and the Bandit. And therefore, the Mirror's going to come in to make those breaches awkward. In terms of Secret, ban the Grim, ban the Blitz. Again, just operators that you just don't really want to play against because they cause issues. We're well aware of that. I mean, Enterprise in their lineup. Just the one hard breacher, which can be a little bit of question mark because typically the way that this map plays out, and especially this top floor, you almost use the reinforced walls kind of like two sets of walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have the exterior ones, which is your IT and your outside connector.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have your 2 sets of inside walls being your garage wall, and then also your inside connector walls.
Yeah.
So only having just the one guy with 3 Selmas, you're not going to get everything opened up.
Especially with the Mirror being played against you, right? Especially when you know they're going to be trying to make these breaches awkward. You've got yourself a hop, and this is your last one. Which means that anything on the rafters position becomes very tough. You know they've got the Keepers. They're going to be trying to play that extension. They're going to be putting pressure in. It's going to just eat out more utility, whether it's guns, whether it's whatever. And then they've got pockets full of flashes. Going to see if they can try and swing around the corners, because they've used both frag grenades already somewhere as well. The Clash itself is going to be that constant problem. She's just getting a read here against the Flores. I mean, not entirely. I guess they're just getting rid of the position.
Yeah, I mean, they've nothing to counter this Clash. That's the worry with the lineup that they've brought in. So, really for Adrian, as long as he rotates correctly to where his team needs him, should be fine. But half the round gone, and we still have yet to get to that kind of phase 2 of what we see on Labs, where you then have to start moving into garage, moving into connector, and taking those positions before then you start going in towards the bomb site. So they're kind of very close here at the moment.
Where are they trying to get the push from? Obviously, they've opened up pressure.
Can't go that way.
everywhere.
Mirror
No.
window. Oh, actually, 2 Twitch drones in the pocket of player. So maybe, but getting a Twitch drone in is always that. Is it? Is it going to get in there? Is it going to get shot? We don't know.
Another E1D. Puts pressure on the player here in E-Box. Maybe going to try and bounce the pressure over the top and cut this in half. But player, oh, beautiful take. Doom unfortunately gets Fisher going the same second. They have rafters now. Can they try and just swing their way through? Player still getting some work done. Player gets himself 3 for his trouble. Doom, he's going to swing out on towards E-Box and get the lock in. Great pre-fire, but now they can focus their attention back towards this side. You've got Adrian on the Clash in their own engagement. A 1 versus 1. Oh no, sorry. Oh no, sorry. Adrian on a dime finds it. And that leaves a 1 versus 1. The Clash looking for his 3rd, and he finds it all. Bit early for the music. But I mean, to be fair, it was a hell of a play.
He deserves it. What a play. The quick switch from one to another one to another one. So impressive from Adrian. And it's that Clash. I mean, you seen the player come in through Fish. The shield was there. He can't do anything against him. Wow, Adrian just took his head off. And
I mean,
wow. But again, for Enterprise, it's weird because they, once again, I feel we're in a position where they could have won that round, where they had a really strong man advantage with a 2v4, and they let it slip. And I think that kind of sums up the game for them today. Got themselves up into pretty decent positions, and then they just slipped through their fingers. And it's a shame.
It's got to be frustrating, right? It's got to be frustrating knowing that, obviously, all the things that I talked about of trying to stay off of Death's Door for as long as you can, being in a position to start off strong. Start off as you mean to go on. Yeah, it was built by some great player, driving in with that switch, getting some damage done, and then, unfortunately, it goes away from you in a manner like that. A Clash 3-piece whilst being surrounded.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a
But Enterprise, still not over yet. Obviously, as we showed at the beginning of this, if they lose this series, their fate is in effect out of their hands. Their day off is tomorrow. They will have to watch other teams play to see if it dictates their chance at surviving groups. And that is nothing anybody likes having to do. Secret, in the meantime, they win this. They can confirm themselves upper bracket.
Yeah. Big for them. Again, for Secret, has to be up there as probably at least top 5 in terms of predictions, so people would have put to do pretty well. I think a lot of less Secret would be high up there because we know the capabilities of the team and really the rise of them over the past 2 years, you have to say. It's been really strong. And again, see if they can just close it out here and now. And for Enterprise, I mean, pretty swift in towards this top floor, looking for that pinch. But Joom has the hatch open and he's gone. Only wasting a minute, and almost Joom gets caught out by the verticals, but he's alive for now. And Enterprise have got what they've wanted. They've been able to gain that top floor control, and now they can continue the sweep in towards the mid floor.
Yeah, they've peeled themselves back. It's been quite quick, but they're not entirely giving it up yet, Joom.
No.
Got himself tucked on the inside of the kitchen, waiting for anybody else to maybe go for the pressure, and actually he's still kind of confident. He's going to rotate up. Joom's going to see if he can go for a sneaky backstab. They are watching for it.
Yeah, Bappin, I think, is watching for it, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, watching and waiting. I'm not sure how aware they are, but as Tuin gets Mowgli, that just puts more pressure on Joom, whether to move and try and go for the fight.
Oh, Joom, you're dead.
Oh, what? How? Oh. How? Joom. I don't understand. His reflexes are so fast.
He has just 180 turned and burned that guy next week.
I just watched that and don't even understand. My brain can't put that one together, but Joom sure can. I mean, tragedy.
Oh, I feel so sorry for Bappin. He sat there for so long. And you see Joom look away and then Bappin swings.
He moonwalked at him. He moonwalked at Bappin.
Not good, no.
Sent him to space. Okay, 4 versus 4. And they know that there was a loose threat player. There's a knife onto Adrian, but Adrian gets Fisho in the meantime. Not entirely sure how that pieced together, but they're inside the site. The kit behind the pillar. There is Relays. Massive kill on towards the Lurker, but Tuan, he pulls off the plant and he finds a slightly different location. They have the pings. They have the pressure. They have the first, but they have themselves going for the plant. 4 seconds. Has to stick it. All for play for, all for nothing. It's down on the kit, and it is Secret.
Good shit, man.
They get themselves both maps. They get themselves upper bracket. And Enterprise, unfortunately, get themselves the worst seats in the house tomorrow, where they have to sit and watch to see if their fate is sealed by people that aren't them.
Secret, big old win. They close out in good fashion, a 7-1. Fantastic from Secret. That's how you come in today. Get the job done and go next.
It was the lessons in a way sort of put to them in the first map. Things were looking shaky. Things were peeling away from them. Secret were doing Secret things. And yeah, the performance that followed through, whatever conversations they had, sort of showed what this team is capable of. And you said it. People expect them to be at least the top 5 team. There's a lot of teams, actually, that people expect to be in that top, and not all of them are currently playing like it. Secret, well, they just might be that difference maker.
And look at the team performance. Everyone there, everyone having a great time. Joom gets the MVP today. But again, everyone had a part to play. I don't think there... Yes, Joom may have got the most kills, but I don't think there was a standout on that team today. I think everyone stood out.
No, I think that's sort of the idea of it, right? They make sure that they operate as a team. We saw Mowgli make the big plays that he did. Adrian with a 79% cost as well, just is continually offering towards the team themselves. And unfortunately for Enterprise, although there were these moments, being a little bit slower to get in towards Chalet seemed to, unfortunately, hang over their heads throughout the rest of the map. And wow, unfortunately that is another loss that they have suffered. Another couple of maps. But where do they go from here? Well, I watch it from the sidelines. Secret, where do they go? Well, probably to celebrate and cheer, and knowing that team, prepare for the next game.
Yeah, if we know Twister, there'll be no celebrating. Job's not done yet.
Job is not done yet. Not for a team that wants to be in the top 5, but for you and I, actually, for today, our job is done. So